Good afternoon. It's Thursday the 13th of October and we're live in London for today's special programme for schools and sixth form colleges on degree apprenticeships. I'm Martin Birchall from Fliers Research.
And I'm Levi Javel, a BBC journalist and presenter.
By way of a brief introduction, Fliers Research has been researching the graduate employment market since the mid-1990s.
And I'm a former apprentice who joined the BBC straight from school to do a journalism apprenticeship.
So what's coming up in today's programme? If you're a sixth form student, then there are two routes you could take to get a graduate job after leaving school.
You could choose to study a degree at a university in the UK or elsewhere in the world, or you could join an employer straight after leaving school to do a degree apprenticeship. Both options are intended to lead to a well-paid graduate job, but they offer very different pathways and provide very different experiences.
At most schools and sixth form colleges, the route onward to university is a very familiar one for sixth formers. Open days and university visits, writing a personal statement, completing the UCAS application form, offers from universities, and then the long wait for A-level results day.
But the pathway offered by degree apprenticeships, well, that's much less understood. And because degree apprenticeships are still relatively new, many schools have yet to have a single student start a degree apprenticeship after leaving school.
That's why we're absolutely delighted that so many of you have joined us today to find out more about degree apprenticeships. Over 1,000 schools and sixth form colleges right across the UK have registered to watch the programme.
So whether you're a Year 12 or Year 13 student watching in the classroom or in the sixth form centre,
or a parent watching at home,
or a member of staff, it's great to have you with us.
Over the next hour or so, we're going to try and demystify degree apprenticeships for you. We'll be finding out how they can provide a debt-free alternative to a traditional university degree, and we'll hear directly from some of the country's top apprenticeship employers and their apprentices. Now, Levi, you're a big fan of apprenticeships, I know, and that's how you started your career at the BBC. So tell us what you were doing at school and why you chose an apprenticeship.
Yeah, so I was in sixth form, I was doing A-levels, and I just thought university wasn't really the path for me. So yeah, I decided to go down the apprenticeship route. I wanted to earn money whilst also learning and getting a qualification.
And was it easy to find out what was available? Where did you hear about the BBC?
So I knew I wanted to do something in media, something in radio or TV. So I literally just went on Google and searched radio apprenticeships. And that's when I saw the BBC's digital journalism scheme. So I applied for that, went through a quite lengthy application process and started from there.
Fantastic. And whereabouts in the BBC did you actually start?
So I started at a team called BBC Stories, which did long-form documentaries. And then I went on to work at BBC Newsbeat on Radio 1 and 1 Extra. And now I'm working at the BBC News Channel and BBC 3.
Well, it's a fantastic story and it's great to have you with us today. So who else will be joining us on the programme? Well, we're really pleased that 8 of the UK's leading degree apprenticeship employers are taking part. BDO, Dyson, Lloyds Banking Group, PwC, the NHS, Rolls-Royce and the Royal Navy will all be helping us understand what their degree apprenticeship programmes offer for sixth form school leavers and how and when to apply for a degree apprenticeship and what life is like for their degree apprentices. But before we go any further, I think we should start by explaining what a degree apprenticeship actually is. Over to you, Levi.
Thanks, Martin. An apprenticeship is defined by the government as a paid job which offers practical work experience alongside formal classroom-based training that leads to a nationally recognised qualification. This training must account for at least a fifth of time spent on the apprenticeship and is paid for by the employer. Apprenticeships are open to people of all ages, not just school leavers and young people. In England, there's a complete range of apprenticeships available, from levels 2 and 3, which lead to qualifications that are equivalent to GCSEs or A-levels. Levels 4 and 5 are higher apprenticeships, which are classed as being the equivalent of a foundation degree. Level 6 are degree apprenticeships, and Level 7 is the equivalent of completing a master's qualification, although many of these Level 7 apprenticeships are available to sixth form school leavers too. It's these last two types of apprenticeships that we're looking at in today's programme. Apprenticeships that lead to the equivalent of a university bachelor's or master's degree. In Scotland, these are known as graduate apprenticeships. In Northern Ireland, they're higher apprenticeships, but in Wales, they're degree apprenticeships. A degree apprenticeship typically lasts 3 or 4 years. Master's programmes can be up to 6 years, and you'll be working for the employer from day one. They'll partner with a university or another professional training provider for your formal training, which could be done on a 1-day-a-week basis or in blocks during the year. For almost all degree apprenticeships, this means you wouldn't be at university in the conventional sense, but you'll still achieve a university degree or equivalent professional qualification. All university tuition and training fees are paid for by your employer. Since degree apprenticeships were first introduced in 2015, the number of people starting degree apprenticeships has increased each year, but sixth form school leavers only make up a small proportion of these apprentices. They're just as popular with those in work who want to get new qualifications and those who want to change careers. If we look at the destinations of 18-year-olds who left school and sixth form colleges last summer, we know that a record 285,000 started a conventional undergraduate degree at university, whereas fewer than 2,500 began a degree apprenticeship in 2021. So at the moment, school leavers doing a degree apprenticeship are outnumbered by 100 to 1 by those choosing to follow the traditional university route. Back to you, Martin.
Thanks very much, Levi. Well, it's really interesting to see how few sixth formers are actually going on to do a degree apprenticeship when they leave school, despite the rising number of degree apprenticeship places available. I'm hoping that my first guest can help us make sense of these figures. Claire Marchant is Chief Executive of UCAS. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Claire, why aren't more sixth formers taking the opportunity to do a degree apprenticeship? Is it lack of knowledge, not enough opportunities, poor careers guidance? What do you think is behind it?
Well, what we do know is over half of students that come through us actually are interested in degree apprenticeships. So certainly the interest and the demand is there. But I think fundamentally what we're working on is making sure that is an easy to navigate route, and helping teachers and advisors particularly in their lessons, as they're planning lessons, just help students navigate. And that navigation needs to be easy to access, it needs to be engaging, it needs to be personalised, all of that. And at the moment, that one-stop shop where you can see a traditional 3-year undergraduate degree alongside degree apprenticeship isn't there. And that's what we're creating. So I think it's really important that we respond to that demand, and there's much more to be done in terms of the supply. So there's also an issue there. But there are really great opportunities. You're going to hear that today out there at the moment. We just need to help our young people navigate those.
Absolutely. And of course, the application process for university, it's long established, it's well understood, very efficient, but by comparison, each employer is doing their own thing, they're advertising their opportunities at different times. Many of them have deadlines well beyond the university application deadline. So, as you say, there isn't really a central portal. Are you hopeful that employers might come together to actually put all their information and perhaps streamline their processes?
Absolutely, and that's why we've got Career Finder, we're building that out. What I would say to students is also just appreciating or not ruling out degree apprenticeships on the basis you think they're certain types of businesses. We have on our Career Finder the NHS, the police force, as well as some of those big companies like Dyson that you're going to hear from today. So I think recognising that there are lots of different options there, and actually lots of degree apprenticeships you can do. Yes, there's a STEM-based ones, but there's also ones in health and social sciences and things like that. So that is absolutely the destination in terms of that single one point.
And of course, all the predictions are that the number of 18-year-olds wanting to go to university is going to continue increasing in the next few years. How big a part do you think degree apprenticeships are going to have in terms of meeting that extra demand?
An absolutely fundamental part. If we think about in 2026, there will be potentially 1 million applicants, through to higher education. Now, some of those are international applicants, but there's a big drive on the number of 18-year-olds increasing, the demand from those 18-year-olds. We can't build that many universities. Universities are constricted very often by the campus and the city within which they're in. So we have to think about higher education differently, and degree apprenticeships are a fantastic way of doing that.
And how quickly are the universities reacting to all of this? Because I know it can take time to set up new degree courses, and obviously degree apprenticeships may be even more involved. How quickly can they actually create these extra opportunities?
They're really agile now when they're looking at, and particularly during the pandemic, I think universities become more and more agile in terms of what curriculum they put on. So if you think about big universities, Manchester Metropolitan, Nottingham Trent, Hertfordshire, all of these universities have been doing it for a while, but are already looking at what are the new apprenticeship standards, what do we need to think about in terms of the jobs of the future, and what we lay on working with local employers.
And what are you doing in terms of educating parents? Because certainly some of the times I spend in school, you do hear lots of opposition from those who say, well, universities become the only route really for those who are progressing after sixth form. Apprenticeships are, they're plumbing and hairdressing. How are you dealing with that?
And you're right, the stereotypes exist. I was at an event with about 15,000 students just last week, and they were like, no, mum and dad don't want us to do an apprenticeship. So those do continue to exist. We have a direct relationship with those parents, but particularly through teachers advisors, to break down some of the stereotypes and really say, you know, you can be a doctor, you can do really, really aspirational things through a degree apprenticeship. And, you know, it's not right for everybody. It's about the right choice for you. If you want a campus experience, that's one thing. If you want to earn while you learn, that is another thing.
Fantastic. Well, Claire, that's been really helpful. Thank you very much for setting the scene for the degree apprenticeship market. That's much appreciated. So Claire Marchant, Chief Executive of UCAS. Now, over the past month, we've been conducting research with many of the country's top graduate and apprenticeship employers in order to compile a showcase of 50 major employers who'll be offering degree apprenticeships in 2023. Let's take a look at the first 10 employers. We begin our showcase of degree apprenticeship employers at number 50 with Allen & Overy, one of the world's most successful law firms. Its first level 7 solicitor apprentices began their training at the firm's London offices this autumn and will become fully qualified solicitors in 6 years' time. At 49, the Valuation Office Agency is the government body that values properties for council tax and business rates. The VOA offers up to 10 Chartered Surveyor degree apprenticeships each year. Network Rail is at 48. It owns, operates and develops Britain's railway infrastructure. It's a major apprenticeship employer and provides a 3-year degree apprenticeship in technology and business services based at its headquarters in Milton Keynes. Consumer goods company Nestlé may be famous for brands like Kit Kat, Cheerios, Smarties and Nespresso, but its Nestlé Academy offers degree apprenticeships in management, packaging, finance, data science and food technology. At 46, Standard Chartered is an international bank with degree apprenticeships for sixth form school leavers wanting to work in financial markets or corporate and commercial banking. With offices across England and Scotland, CMS is the second leading law firm to feature in our employer showcase. Its 6-year solicitor apprenticeship is delivered in partnership with the University of Law. We're off to the northwest of England for the nuclear decommissioning company Sellafield Limited at number 44. It employs apprentices at its sites in Cumbria and Warrington and offers a 4-year degree apprenticeship that leads to a BSc in project management. At 43, RSA is one of the world's longest-standing insurance companies. Its Bright Futures apprenticeship programme provides opportunities for sixth form school leavers to gain industry-recognised qualifications within insurance. Pfizer is at number 42. It's a global biopharmaceutical company that's discovered and developed over 150 different medicines and vaccines worldwide. Its degree apprenticeship programmes are in areas such as research and development, science, marketing and human resources. And at 41 in our employer showcase, the NatWest Group is home to the Royal Bank of Scotland, Ulster Bank, Coutts and NatWest Bank. It's recruiting sixth form school leavers for its Digital and Technology Solutions degree apprenticeship programme. So that's our first set of employers with degree apprenticeship programmes for next year's sixth form school leavers. Now earlier, Levi mentioned that employers take a variety of different approaches as to how they deliver their formal training, the degree element of degree apprenticeships. Well, one employer that uses different models for its degree apprenticeships is the accounting and professional services firm PwC. And I'm joined by Jordan Denny, Student Recruitment Officer at the firm. Jordan, thanks very much for joining us today. Now, you offer digital and technology degree apprenticeships for school leavers, and you're quite unusual in that you have two very different models in terms of how you deliver that. So would you be able to just talk us through what's on offer for school leavers?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me. So our Flying Start Technology Degree Apprenticeship is in two different models. We have the Study First model, where students would attend university, so University of Leeds, University of Birmingham, Queen's University Belfast or Queen Mary University of London, to study either computer science, data analyst or software engineering, university dependent, and they would do 3 integrated placements whilst on that degree. So the degree is 4 years in length, and they would do 2 summer internships and 1 full year in our tech teams, which is really exciting. And then we have the Work First model, which was brand new last year. We're really excited to carry it on this year. And that's with Ada College, the National College for Digital Skills in Manchester.
Okay.
The focus there is on the job learning. So they would spend around 80% of their time working at PwC in our wonderful tech teams, and then 20% of their time either studying at Ada College or self-study.
So it's that second model that sounds closest to most people's idea of an apprenticeship. The idea that you have 4 days in the office, 1 day sort of for college or university. But your scheme where you describe it as study first, that's actually a normal university experience, isn't it? So you're enrolling students at the universities you've mentioned for a conventional degree course. How much work do you actually get out of them over the course of those 3 or 4 years?
Whilst they're on placement, they're treated as graduates. So they get graduate experience, client exposure right from the outset, obviously with lots of support and training and development. But from the outset, they're kind of treated as a graduate. So we get lots from them, but they also get lots from us too.
But just to be clear, they're enrolling at university alongside other freshers. They're having a completely normal student experience. They're there in halls. They're enjoying all the things that university life brings, but you're paying them a salary and you're covering the university tuition fees.
Absolutely. So our Study First and our Work First pathways are both fully funded. So we fund all their tuition fees and we pay them a full-time salary for the entire duration of the programme. So whilst they're at university on that Study First pathway, they feel like a normal university student.
So this is all about giving people choice. If they want to start in the office straight away, that's one option. If they want to actually go and get the university experience, that's possible as well. And they both take the same length of time.
So the Study First pathway is 4 years, where they're at university, and the Work First pathway in Manchester is 3 years.
It's slightly quicker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really pleased we're actually joined by 2 of your degree apprentices who are experiencing the Study First model. So the first is Ben Skinner, who I understand has just finished his computer science degree from the University of Leeds. And our second apprentice is Arushi Jain, who is at the University of Birmingham. So let me start with you, Ben. You're out the other side. You've had 4 years at the University of Leeds on the computer science course. I'm assuming it was perpetually your round at the bar because you must have been one of the best funded students there, presumably.
It was quite an experience, yeah. So, hi, by the way, thank you for having me. But yeah, it was really great. Certainly being funded through uni, it was always strange sitting in those lecture theatres, being that we had the standard experience of all the other students, we'd sit amongst them, but there was always the knowledge that we had the wage and the tuition fees paid. We had the extra support as well from PwC along the side, which was really great.
Out about the degree apprenticeship. How much did you know about PwC or about the accounting professional services sector? Was it something you've been aiming at from a younger age?
For me, no. I always knew that I wanted to work with computers. I always knew that I liked tech, but PwC really came as a bit of a curveball for me. So it was a shock, but having delved deeper and learned more, it's something of a long-term career for me now, I think.
And of course, over a 4-year period, aims and ambitions can change. Did you find that you felt confident about your decision as you went through it? Did it reinforce what you'd originally thought?
Oh, absolutely. I came from a family where it was, as you said, the very traditional university is the way to go. And I wasn't sure that it was for me. But the more and more I looked into it, even in the application process, the more I started to fall in love with the idea of doing the program. And as I've gone through, I really wouldn't change any of the decisions looking back. It's one of the better choices I've made for my career, I think.
Fantastic. Well, literally a flying start, as it says on the tin. Arushi, let me bring you in. You've been studying at the University of Birmingham, but you're on your placement year at the moment, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about the work you're doing.
I am, yes. So I'm situated in tax tech. I'm split between 2 teams, actually. So I get the experience of doing like data visualization, data manipulation, but I also am working a little bit in advisory, which is really nice, actually, because it's both kind of career paths that I've been looking into. So the option to do both at the same time works really well for me, and it really will help me when I'm making an informed decision after uni as to where I want to sit.
And I mean, it sounds like even though the majority of your time during your degree will be spent studying, you've had enough work experience, you're going through enough experiences there to be really quite immersed in the firm.
Yeah, so I've had one placement in the, like less tech but a lot more advisory side. I've had a placement in testing and I've had a placement in development. So I think by the end of my 4 years, I would have gained an exposure into most type like fields that PwC work tech in. So especially this year, with this with the advisory side and the data side, by the end of the year, I will have basically covered all bases.
Fantastic. And Arushi, how are your fellow students doing on your degree course? I mean, I guess they don't all have guaranteed jobs at the end of it. Are they very jealous of what you've signed up for?
Of course, but there's also the added pressure of getting internships and securing your year placement, which I didn't have to go through. It was very easy for me. Once you're in, you know, you definitely have a secured summer placement first year, and after second year, of course, your year placement. So there was no stress there. There's not too much of a stress after uni because of these 4 years of experience. So yeah.
Well, thank you both. It sounds like an absolutely fabulous experience, and you're both obviously making the most of it. And thank you also to Jordan Denny from PwC. Jordan's actually going to be back with us a little bit later in the programme to help answer some of your questions about degree apprenticeships. So if you've questions you'd like to ask on any aspect of degree apprenticeships, just email them now to studio@highfliers.co.uk and we'll put them to our apprenticeship experts. Now, it's time to find out from Levi what kind of degree apprenticeships are on offer for sixth form school leavers. Levi.
Thank you, Martin. There's now more than 100 different types of level 6 degree apprenticeships available, but by definition, each one is a vocational experience with a very specific role or job title, many of which will be unfamiliar to most sixth formers. It's an impressive list from aerospace engineer, chartered surveyor and cybersecurity professional to digital marketer, financial services professional, laboratory scientist, midwife, police constable, project manager or a registered nurse or a rail system senior engineer. In each case, you'll be working in these roles as soon as the degree apprenticeship begins and will study for an appropriate degree that accompanies the occupation or profession. And it's not just level 6 opportunities. There are also a growing number of master's level apprenticeships. So you could choose a level 7 apprenticeship to become an architect, chartered accountant or tax professional, or train to become a fully qualified solicitor, all whilst earning a salary and having your training and tuition fees paid for in full by your employer. If we look at which degree apprenticeships sixth form school leavers have enrolled on in the past year, we can see that digital and technology solutions professional was the top choice. Almost 500 18-year-old school leavers started this apprenticeship in the autumn of 2021. Accountancy and tax professional, chartered surveyor and chartered manager were the next most popular options. But you can see on the right-hand side that only a handful of school leavers started degree apprenticeships in some of the most specialist roles, like nuclear scientist, food industry technical professional, and material science technologist.
You're watching a special programme from High Fliers Research on degree apprenticeships. Now, we've just heard from Levi about the very considerable number of different types of degree and master's level apprenticeships that are available. One of these is the Level 7 Solicitor Apprenticeship, which several top law firms are offering. And I'm joined by Steffi Contado, Emerging Talent Business Partner at the firm Evershed Sutherland, to explain more about how these apprenticeships work. Steffi, welcome to the programme. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm interested first just to perhaps to do a recap on what the conventional career path into law would be. So if you choose to go to university to study a law degree or perhaps convert to a law qualification later on, what does that path look like?
Yeah, sure. So for someone that decides to do a law degree and go to university and do the traditional route, they would go and typically do a 3-year law degree at university. Okay. They would then have to do the legal practice course, or now the solicitor's qualifying exam, which also takes an additional year. Okay. And then after those 4 years have been completed, they would do a 2-year training contract. So that in total would take 6 years.
Okay. Now, Evershed is one of the first firms to embrace the Level 7 solicitor apprenticeship. That also takes 6 years. How does it differ, though, in terms of the experience that a school leaver would get by enrolling for the apprenticeship?
Yeah, correct. So they would still, at the end of the 6 years, come out with a law degree, just as they would if they'd gone to university. But at the same time as getting that law degree, they would have 6 years experience. So in the first 4 years, they'd be working with us full-time with 1 day paid study leave to study towards their degree. And then in their 5th and 6th years, they would join the training contract alongside our graduates. Okay. So they'd have 4 years experience, a guaranteed training contract, and the law degree at the end of that.
And the law degree at the end of that, that's important, is it? Because that is then portable. They could potentially take that to another firm or another direction for their career. And that's one of the things that really underpins apprenticeships, isn't it? That it leads to this nationally recognised qualification.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Is there a difference in terms of the experience that degree apprentices will have by the time they arrive, for those final 2 years? They presumably know you pretty well. And they know the law pretty well as well, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. They will have been in the business for 4 years. They would have built and developed relationships with the employees and, their peer group and partners and different levels of seniority. And they will have been exposed to things that they necessarily wouldn't have learned, at school or having gone to university to study that degree. So they definitely will have more experience than the traditional graduates that would join us having completed their degree.
Now, of course, the one thing they may miss out on is a vibrant university social life. You're only recruiting quite small numbers for the apprenticeships. How much of a social life can you give them around the firm?
Yeah, so the firm is very social. There's loads of activities, events, social committees, and lots of opportunities for the apprentices to get involved in. Obviously, they'll be studying and working, so may have slightly more limited time than those that go to university. But there's definitely a big social scene and lots of social opportunities for them to get involved in. And
do you find you're mainly recruiting apprentices straight from school, or are people coming to you perhaps a little bit later on once they've perhaps taken another path or looking at other options?
So the majority are coming straight from school. We do have maybe a small amount that have maybe gone to university for a year, decided it's not for them, and then considered alternative routes. But I'd say, the majority would come as school leavers.
Now, when you're in schools and sixth form colleges promoting the apprenticeships, do people understand what it is that's on offer and why this may be an equally good route to becoming a qualified solicitor?
I think they struggle to believe that it is such a good route because, it's hard to comprehend that actually it takes the same length of time. You'd be earning a salary, you'd have the experience, you've got the guaranteed training contract, which also is a big selling point. So they often ask us, what are the negatives, or it seems too good to be true, and I think there sometimes is a worry that it won't be seen as as a good route as going to university, but it definitely is recognised as an equal pathway into the profession.
And they are some great starting salaries as well. What are you paying in London at the moment?
Yeah, so 23,000 in London and 20 outside of London.
So potentially for 18-year-olds coming out of school, a great place to start. Well, that's been really useful to run through it all. I guess it's early days to see how all of those degree apprenticeships turn out for you as a firm. 6-year programme. I'm guessing the first of your apprentices won't be coming off that for another year or so.
Yeah, so we've actually, as we were the first large law firm that introduced it in 2016, we did have our first cohort qualify. So we had 7 that sat the endpoint assessment and qualified with us, all retained within the business and had jobs and have started as associates with us last month.
That's very exciting. Well, you're there already. That's a fantastic note to finish on. Steffi Contado from Evershed Sutherland, thank you very much. In a moment, we'll be meeting an engineering trainee who's on one of the UK's most sought-after programmes. But first, let's find out more about the employers offering degree apprenticeships next year. We return to our showcase of the UK's degree apprenticeship employers with the Lloyds Banking Group at number 40. It offers degree apprenticeships in its financial and technology functions. At 39, BMW Group is a world-leading manufacturer of premium cars and motorcycles. It recruits sixth form school leavers for its engineering degree apprenticeships at the mini plants in Oxford and Swindon and Rolls-Royce motor cars in Chichester. The multinational oil and energy company BP is at number 38. It offers degree apprenticeships in human resources, finance and a range of different commercial roles. One place ahead, Arup is a global firm of designers, engineers, planners and business consultants with 16 offices across the UK and places for up to 30 degree apprentices in 2023. At number 36, JCB is a British multinational manufacturer of equipment for construction, agriculture, waste handling and demolition. Its degree apprenticeship programmes include engineering and business. AstraZeneca is at 35. It's a global, science-led biopharmaceutical business that recruits around 30 apprentices annually for its laboratory scientist degree apprenticeship programme. And at 34, we've another multinational pharmaceutical and biotechnology company. GSK is offering 35 places on its laboratory, pharmaceutical, data science and supply chain degree apprenticeships in 2023. Bloomberg is at number 33. It's a global leader in providing business and financial data, news and market insights, and has degree apprenticeships in finance and technology. At 32, Thames Water provides water and sewage services for 15 million people across London and the Thames Valley. It's a major apprenticeship employer with degree apprenticeships in mechanical and electrical engineering, project management and chartered surveying. And at 31, Santander is another well-known name from the banking world. It's planning to recruit up to 50 degree apprentices in 2023 for its finance and data science programmes.
So there we are, 10 more UK employers who will be providing degree apprenticeship programmes in 2023.
Now, Dyson is the first of 3 case studies we're including in today's programme to show the sheer variety of different opportunities available to sixth form school leavers. Best known for its innovative vacuum cleaners and hand dryers, Dyson has set up its own Institute of Engineering and Technology, offering Dyson degrees to encourage more young people to take up careers in engineering.
Let's take a look at their campus in Malmesbury in the west of England.
And I'm pleased we can now cross live to the Dyson campus to speak to Ellie Jackson, a second-year engineering undergraduate at the Institute of Engineering and Technology. Ellie, good afternoon. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme. Now, I'm interested, that doesn't look like a typical student room to me. Where are you today for our call?
So I am in the Dyson Village. This is the accommodation provided by the Dyson Institute for first-year students. It is a semicircle of very futuristic looking pods, which each student has a pod and are organised into kitchens of 8 students, as there's a real community feel here as you get to know the other students in your year.
And Ellie, how did you hear about this apprenticeship?
So a previous student from my school had gone to the Dyson Institute and had come back to do an outreach event, and that's how I found out about it. And I was really interested in the idea of having an option alternative to UCAS for my for after sixth form, and I really like the idea of doing a degree apprenticeship, so I researched more into it on the Dyson Institute website to find out more, and here I am.
And it's interesting, Ellie, isn't it, because Dyson don't describe this as a degree apprenticeship. You're an undergraduate on their engineering degree course, aren't you? And the path you're following, it's loosely modelled on an apprenticeship with time in the factory, as it were, and then study days. But how does it feel from your point of view? Does it feel like a university experience or something very different?
There's definitely aspects of university, but aspects of being in work as well, which I think is what makes it so good. So 2 days a week, I'm studying in the Dyson Institute lecture spaces, which feels very much like a university. And the other 3 days of the week, I'm working in the workplace with real Dyson teams. And that's quite exciting. But yes, there's a real mixture of the uni life and the workplace too.
And how are you finding balancing both of them? So doing the work and working full time as well?
So Dyson makes sure to provide lots of support networks for the students. So within work, I have a line manager and technical mentor who are always on hand to help me when I'm stuck. And we also have student support advisors for the wellbeing side who make sure that we're coping with the workload, because there is a lot to do with workplace and academics, but there's plenty of people on hand to make sure we can do it.
Now, it all looks like a very futuristic environment, from the pods to all the buildings on site. I know you can't tell us what you're working on and what the next big Dyson products are going to be, but does it have a real energy about it, being in such a large community of engineers and in such impressive surroundings?
It's definitely really exciting working with the other engineers who have a lot more experience. So some of them have been at the company for years and years, and it's really beneficial to us to be able to learn what they've learned and work with them.
And what was the application process like for something like this?
So when I applied, I had to submit like a personal statement, document going over my experience in engineering. I also had to do some online tests for logical reasoning, and also a telephone interview and a final technical interview, which was like a university interview testing the application of the skills.
So Ellie, you've got 2 more years to go. Do you get to choose which part of the business you might move into when your undergraduate degree comes to an end?
So the first 2 years is general engineering, and then from 3rd year, I'll get to choose a specific stream, so either software, mechanical, electronics, or electromechanical. And then I'll do 2 years studying and working specifically in that area. And after the degree, there are plenty of opportunities either in the UK or in Southeast Asia, in the Dyson Singapore or Malaysia offices, where I could then choose to work.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic opportunity and a really exciting time for you. Ellie Jackson, thank you very much for joining us from Dyson.
It's time to find out which employers are in the next instalment of our Degree Apprenticeship Employer Showcase.
We're back to our showcase of the country's degree apprenticeship employers with defence company MBDA at number 30. It's offering 40 places in 2023 on its 4-year degree apprenticeships in engineering, software and technology. At 29, Arcadis is a leading provider of sustainable design, engineering and consultancy solutions for natural and built assets. Its degree apprenticeship programs include engineering, project management, transport planning and surveying. Banking and financial services giant HSBC is at number 28. It has around 50 places available in 2023 on its new 4-year degree apprenticeships in wealth or personal banking that include a series of different rotations within the bank. We stay in the world of finance for JP Morgan at 27. It was one of the first investment banks to offer apprenticeships in the UK, and it has degree apprenticeship programs in financial services and technology in both London and Bournemouth. At 26, don't tell anyone, but MI5, the security service, is looking for would-be software engineers to join its technology degree apprenticeships in 2023. One place ahead, and Thales is a global technology leader working in the areas of big data, AI, connectivity, cybersecurity, and quantum technology. It provides a range of degree apprenticeships in engineering and technology at its sites across the UK. At 24, Balfour Beatty is an industry leader in construction. It's looking for over 50 sixth form school leavers in 2023 for its 5-year degree apprenticeship programmes in civil, electrical and mechanical engineering, construction and design. Partnering with the universities at Bradford and Strathclyde, supermarket retailer Morrisons offers degree apprenticeships in retail management, manufacturing engineering, logistics and corporate services. The BBC, the world's leading public broadcaster, is at number 22. It offers a number of different degree apprenticeship schemes, including journalism, broadcast and software engineering, cybersecurity, data science and business management. And at 21, Clipper Logistics is one of Europe's leading retail logistics providers. It's created a degree apprenticeship in professional supply chain leadership in partnership with Sheffield Hallam University. We've heard a lot already about the opportunities that degree apprenticeships can offer to sixth form school leavers. My next guest is here to explain more about the application process that students will need to go through. Tasmia Niazi is a software engineer at Lloyds Banking Group and a former degree apprentice. Welcome to the programme. Now, you've just finished your degree apprenticeship, but I'm hoping you can think back to when you started and the application process you went through. So what is it that Lloyds Banking Group ask applicants to do?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I remember when I was applying for the application, when I was applying for my degree apprenticeship, the main thing is that you just want to come across being yourself. So most students will be already filling out the UCAS application as part of university. So your UCAS application is pretty much what you can take to the application process within Lloyds as well.
And so, did you apply in parallel? So were you applying for university as well as degree apprenticeships, or did you do one first and the other next?
Yeah, so my situation was quite different because when I was doing my diploma at college, they only told me about university. They didn't tell me that degree apprenticeships or even that was an option. So I did my UCAS application, but all my UCAS application wasn't lost because there were so many skills that I had inside my UCAS application that I took towards when I was applying for a degree apprenticeship at other organizations as well. So most of the personal skills, like, you know, your presentation, like skills, and there's all these transferable skills that you can take from your UCAS application and actually take them to the organization, which most organizations are really looking forward to.
So in a way, you used your personal statement almost as a template to draw information from. But of course, I think of all of the employers out there, Lloyds Banking Group probably have one of the more straightforward applications for degree apprenticeships. Some really are very complex and very involved. And asking sixth form school leavers really to explain why they want a career in a particular area, what it is that has motivated towards that particular employer. And those aren't easy questions to answer, are they, if you don't know much about the world of work before you're applying?
Yep. So I think Lloyds Banking Group is doing a really good job because they keep it very simple, like you mentioned, and they want it just to be like the first application process would just be like your basic information, your name, why you want to, and to always do your research why you want to apply for this organization. So just have some kind of basic knowledge about what the organization does, and then after that they just kind of ask you like basic questions that you know, what interests you, what discipline you would want to go in, and then after that, like, you can just kind of there's a scenarios-based question. So we're just kind of trying to see how you're good at working in a team, or how you're getting on with other team members. So you could always kind of relate to school activities that you've done, like playing in a football team, or you know, like working within a group, how you've kind of worked with other people as well. So those kind of things. And then we also just kind of have a very casual video interview where you're just like speaking to someone and you're just going through like basic questions, you know, how would you perform under pressure, or how would you so it's not really hard because at school and colleges you would be kind of going through those scenarios already. And I think the main thing is just be yourself. That's one thing that we really proudly, even for interviews or anything else, we always just say kind of, you know, just calm down, don't let the nerves take the best of you, and just be yourself. And that's mainly what we're looking for with just natural people.
Well, that's really good advice. And just tell me a little bit about the timetable. So were you applying in the spring of your final year at college, or was it around about the same time as the UCAS process?
Yep, so it was around the same time. So May, June, I started applying for, I had done my UCAS application prior to that. So, and then after that, I was just searching online. I was looking at different opportunities. Right. And I remember clearly when I applied for university, I got accepted for King's College London. And that was really hard to get into anyways. So once I had got accepted for that, I remember I was going to do an industrial placement year, which was going to take me to 4 years anyways. But then the degree apprenticeship is 4 years as well. But I got to have incomparable experience, which workplace experience, which you can't compare to by just having a normal undergraduate degree. And they both were taking the same amount of time. So it was a win-win situation for me, where I was going to be gaining the experience, working on real-life projects, and contributing to Lloyds Banking Group. So I thought, the apprenticeship just sounded like a no-brainer.
Well, what a fantastic position to be in, to have both of those options, and it sounds like you chose the one that was absolutely right for you. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really good talking to you. Thank you. Now, if you're trying to weigh up whether a degree apprenticeship might be a good option for you, or if you should follow the traditional university route, then help is at hand. Levi has been comparing the different pathways. Levi.
Thank you, Martin. So, who should do a conventional university degree, and who might be better suited to doing a degree apprenticeship? Both lead to the graduate job market, so let's start by comparing the two routes. At university, you can expect to do 25 to 35 weeks of full-time study each year. Your university will charge you tuition fees of up to £9,250 per year, which you can cover using a student loan that you'll repay when you're in graduate employment. The combination of tuition fees and living costs at university mean average graduation debts for students are typically £40,000 to £50,000. On a degree apprenticeship, you'll study for the equivalent of 1 day per week. Your employer will pay your university tuition fees and any other training costs associated with your apprenticeship. Because you'll be an employee, you'll be paid a salary throughout the apprenticeship, usually in the range of £15,000 to £23,000 per annum. So that's a practical comparison, but who is most suited to each route? The latest research of university students show that fewer than 1 in 6 were certain about what they wanted to do for their career when they started their degree. So for the majority of sixth formers, going to university provides you with 3 or 4 years to think about the type of career you'd like to do. You'll have time to get to work experience, try out different industries or business sectors, and prepare for the graduate job market, all while studying a subject that you're interested in, and hopefully enjoying the social and extracurricular life on offer at university. For sixth formers who already know what they want to do in the future, a degree apprenticeship could be an ideal option, provided there's an apprenticeship that matches the type of job you're interested in. So if you know now that you want to work in technology, engineering, law, marketing, or any of the dozens of other occupations and professions that we looked at earlier, then a degree apprenticeship could provide you with a fully funded route to a graduate level job in the industry or business sector that you're interested in. And remember, the degree that comes with the apprenticeship may well be from one of the leading universities in England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. What you can't do is a general apprenticeship whilst you make your mind up about the type of career that's right for you. All degree apprenticeships are for specific jobs or occupations, and in order to win a place on them, you'll need to be able to persuade an employer now why you're keen to work in that role. Back to you, Martin.
Thanks very much, Levi. That's really helpful. Now, for the second of our case studies of employers who are offering exceptional opportunities for sixth form school leavers, to help set the scene, we asked this next employer to send us some footage of a typical day in the office. Here goes.
Closed up, cleared away, balls clear, ammunition provided.
Range at 20,000 yards.
Clear the takeoff, between 1006.
Wow, I'm exhausted just watching that. But I'm delighted that we're joined by Sub-Lieutenant Honesty Shaw-Young, who's a Royal Navy University cadet at Newcastle University. Good afternoon, Honesty. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. I noticed that you've already joined the Royal Navy. You're there in uniform, and yet you're a fresher at Newcastle University. So tell us what you've done since you left school and your decision to join the Navy.
So I was on an A-level scholarship through my 2 years at sixth form, and I finished school last summer. And then I went off to Dartmouth in September to start officer training, which is 30 weeks at Britannia Royal Naval College in Dartmouth. I'm on a university cadet entry scholarship. So that's where you would go to Dartmouth first, do your phase 1 officer training, and then you go on to do a university course, which is fully funded by the Navy. So that's where I am at the moment. And then I would come back and do my phase 2 training as a marine engineering officer at the end of university.
And I should probably just point out, there are 2 schemes, aren't there, that the Navy offer for school leavers. And yours isn't an apprenticeship as such, it's more of a sponsored degree. So that there are places for around 35 people each year on the defence undergraduate scheme, and that provides, I suppose, what you think of as a sponsorship through university. But you're actually in the elite version of that, so you're already being salaried by the Navy as well as having all your university fees paid. So a tremendous position to be in. I was going to ask, how tough was all of that to sign up for as an 18-year-old leaving school?
So I would say it's definitely been the hardest year of my life so far. But it's also been the best. I don't think I've ever laughed as much as I have in the last year. It's been, I've met some really amazing people, and I've learned so many new skills, leadership skills. It's been amazing, really, really good.
And honestly, we saw a little snippet of a day in the life. Can you just talk us through a day in the life, because it looked amazing.
So that's when you're fully qualified. During training, you will be able to do IST, which is initial sea time, in which you spend 6 weeks on a ship in the fleet. So I spent time on HMS Prince Wales. So that's one of our aircraft carriers. So I spent 6 weeks on there, and you get integrated into the ship's company. You have a task book that you have to fill out. So yeah, day sort of starts around 8, ends at 4. Sometimes longer, but throughout training you'll be on much longer hours than that. They do work you to the bone during training, but yeah, sometimes you'll be alongside, so you'll be in either Portsmouth or Plymouth, or you'll be at sea, and we have ships all over the world, but so you could be deployed on any different class of ship.
So you're now at Newcastle, you're doing a mechanical engineering degree. How much time are you having to spend doing Navy things as well, juggling your studies alongside?
So across the UK, we have University Royal Naval units. So this is somewhere that provides university students access to officer cadet training within those units, and they branch out to all of the universities across the UK. So I am based at Northumbria, Ernu, and so they have drill nights every week in which I would attend as a training officer. But yeah, they're available to everyone who wants to try, and you just have to do a swim test and an interview to be able to take part.
So it's early days with your Navy career, but where do you see yourself going once you've graduated and once you're there at the Navy full time?
Yeah, so after I graduate, I have 18 months more training to do to become a fully fledged marine engineer officer. And then after that, I would work my way up the ranks, hopefully, and yeah, be deployed on different classes of ship, and yeah.
Well, it's an absolutely tremendous scheme. I wish more people knew about it. It sounds like an absolutely amazing start to an engineering career and a career in the armed forces. Honesty Shaw-Young, Sub-Lieutenant Honesty Shaw-Young, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
You're watching Degree Apprenticeships with me, Levi Javel.
And me, Martin Birchall.
Thank you to everyone that has been sending in questions. We'll be answering them at the end of the programme. Please keep them coming.
Now, where did we get to with our showcase of apprenticeship employers? We're into the top 20 in our showcase of degree apprenticeship employers with BT. It's a global market leader in telecommunications and technology solutions, with degree apprenticeships in project management, customer services, software engineering, applied research and cyber security. Rival telecommunications firm Vodafone is expanding its intake of degree apprentices in 2023, with up to 70 places available in its engineering, data analytics, cyber security and human resources divisions. At number 18, infrastructure engineering consultants AECOM is set to recruit over 70 apprentices next year for its degree apprenticeships in transportation, engineering, surveying and project management. One place ahead, IBM is a multinational technology corporation. It offers up to 80 places annually on its Digital and Technology Solutions degree apprenticeship programme, with study at the University of Exeter, Manchester Metropolitan University and the Open University. At number 16, Jaguar Land Rover is one of the UK's best-known motor manufacturers. It provides degree apprenticeships in professional engineering, technology, supply chain and logistics, and finance. At 15, Accenture is a global technology and consulting company. It's planning to recruit around 120 degree apprentices in 2023 for its technology apprenticeships in London, Edinburgh, Manchester and the West Midlands, and its newly launched consulting degree apprenticeship. At number 14, BDO is an accounting and professional services firm. It's offering over 120 places on its master's level apprenticeships in 2023, a 4-year programme combining experience in areas like audit or tax with a professional accountancy qualification. Now that policing is an all-graduate profession, Merseyside Police is one of 40 forces across the UK offering police constable degree apprenticeships. There are around 140 places available with Merseyside Police in 2023 for the 3-year programme that leads to a degree in professional policing practice from Liverpool John Moores University. One of the world's best-known companies, Amazon, is at number 12. Its e-commerce, cloud computing, digital streaming and artificial intelligence businesses recruit around 150 degree apprentices annually for management, finance, sales, creative design, technology and engineering roles. And at 11, Airbus is a leader in the aerospace industry, operating in the commercial aircraft, helicopters, defence and space sectors, with degree apprenticeships in technology, engineering, materials science, procurement and supply chain. So that's our 4th set of employers offering degree apprenticeships in 2023. We'll be back for the final instalment a little later. Now, we heard earlier about making applications to employers for their degree apprenticeship programmes and how daunting this can be for sixth formers. I'm joined now by Abdullah Mir, the Early Careers Assistant Resourcing Manager at accounting and professional services firm BDO, who's going to explain what happens during employers' assessment and selection processes. Abs, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm conscious we've talked already about how different the process is applying for a degree apprenticeship as to applying for university. Give us an idea of what you put your applicants through for those who are applying to BDO for a degree apprenticeship.
Thanks for having me, Martin. So firstly, once candidates have applied and made their application online, they can have an online test. So that is all virtual, and that is a combination of numerical tests. So you could think of GCSE level maths, for example, and situational tests to see what a candidate would do in that particular situation. And then you can expect to have a video interview. So these are a set of 4 questions that are asked, and they're pre-recorded as well. So this is just to see how a candidate can communicate in a live interview setup. Once that bit is done, companies do tend to have assessment centres as well. Now, this may or may be face-to-face or maybe virtual, depending on the company that candidates apply to. Majority of the firms are doing this virtually for now. And at an assessment center, a candidate can expect to have group exercises to see how they work in a team. They can have an interview one-on-one with a senior member of staff in the company. They can have a presentation to see how they present one-on-one as well. And they can have a written task as well to see their written communication skills.
So it's incredibly thorough, and I know a lot of university students aged 21, 22 find all of that really very difficult to prepare for. How on earth do you get 18-year-olds up to speed for things which they've literally never done? They might have a CV left over from perhaps an old retail job or bar work, and they've been through their personal statement, but they won't have experience necessarily of interviewing or taking part in some of the tests you describe.
There are a few tips that I would always give to these students. Firstly, whenever you make a mind up about which company you want to apply for, go to their website. There's a wealth of information available there, and that you can use when you do make that application.
Okay.
There's insight days, there are open days that you were referring to earlier as well. Make sure that you go there as well. But then the most important thing is when you've done your research, that really does show when you come to the interview. And even if you're in school, let's say you worked in a project, let's say you're in a sports team, let's say you've dealt with some public speaking if that's not your strong forte. So these are things that you can always talk about at any application process as well.
But very important for sixth formers to reflect on some of those things so they have those kind of experiences at their fingertips when they're there in an interview.
Absolutely.
How lenient are you on 18-year-olds who are going through this? Because they may not be as polished as they perhaps would be if they were applying for a job later in life.
We have a lot of support available for them before they make their application as well. So the recruiters will always make sure that they're contacting these candidates, making sure that they can talk through them. It's absolutely fine to be nervous when you come to these assessments as well. But more importantly, Martin, it's okay to fail as well. So if you at first are not successful, you will be given some feedback to work on so that you can make an application the year after.
And just one final question. How long does all this take? So from somebody applying to you to making it through to the final round and getting the offer of a degree apprenticeship, how long would that typically take?
I think it shouldn't take more than 2 days if you think about it, because at the online test, it's about 45 minutes. An assessment centre is maximum 5 hours of your day.
Okay.
So it depends on how quickly you do the online test. So within a space of 2 days, you should hopefully have an offer at the end of it as well.
Wow, so a very quick turn.
Very quick.
Fantastic, that's been really useful. Absmir from BDO, many thanks. Now it's time for our third case study showing school leavers in the workplace, and we have another employer with an impressive showreel.
At Rolls-Royce, we believe in the positive, transforming potential of technology. Throughout our rich heritage, we've pursued more competitive power, developing ever cleaner, safer, groundbreaking technologies that shape the world we live in. We've created the world's most efficient large aero engine, powered nuclear submarines, and enabled land speed records. We've developed game-changing engineering solutions for supersonic jets, and even supported NASA missions on the edge of space. We disrupt, we challenge convention, we champion new solutions. We pioneer the power that matters. We're always looking forwards, creating an environment where our people can be at their best, shape the future, and work on incredible projects that matter. We give them the freedom to grow, challenge, and be brilliant. We collaborate, innovate, and embrace different ways of thinking. We're pioneers. Together, we'll advance beyond tomorrow.
And I'm pleased we can cross live now to Rolls-Royce in Derby to speak to Daniel Snart. He's an engineering degree apprentice in the Civil Aerospace Division. Daniel, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I gather you're in your fourth year now with Rolls-Royce. Tell us a little bit about your journey from school and college through to joining the company.
It all started when I was in college doing my level 3 BTEC diploma in engineering. So during that time, the college sort of told me about apprenticeships and how great they were. Rolls-Royce was always the #1 apprenticeship that sort of they proposed to us. So I set my sights on it and applied, went through the online test, interview day, and found myself here today at Rolls-Royce, now in my 4th year.
And part of your job is looking at the maturity of some of the engines that are in service. Can you talk us through what else you do in your job? Do you get to like drive any fancy cars?
No fancy cars. Unfortunately, I wouldn't mind driving a Rolls-Royce, but unfortunately, it's not our company anymore. So as an apprentice, I actually get to move around the business quite a lot, doing a variety of different placements. So my current one is looking after the maturity of engines, but Rolls-Royce offers a wide variety of different job roles. So I've been a designer looking after individual components of the engine. I've also been a project manager looking after tests that we are testing new components on different parts of the engines that we've made. As well as that, our test houses where we test whole engines. I was looking at making sure that that's fit for purpose and ready. So our latest testbed 80, I was even working on electrical connections within the test house. So there is a really wide variety of different things that I get up to on my apprenticeship.
So it sounds like you've got lots of responsibility already and working hard 4 years into your time with the company. Do you feel you've missed out, though, on the social life that perhaps some of your friends from school and college have gone on to at university? I mean, they're not necessarily putting in quite the same hours as you are, but you, of course, are getting a salary for your time at Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, so that is one of the main factors that you really sort of have to take into account doing an apprenticeship. There is a lot more structure to an apprenticeship than there is the standard uni life. So you probably will miss out on student night in the week, going out clubbing and things like this. But for me personally, that was an okay trade-off. The benefits have much outweighed a few nights out. So I've learned a ridiculous amount of things instead, and it's really progressed me as a person. It's boosted my social skills, confidence, and yeah, I'm very thankful to be where I am.
Nice. And you're in your 4th year. How long have you got left, and what are you planning to do after?
So with being in my apprenticeship actually is only 4 years long. So this is my final year now. So I should finish sometime next summer. Once I finish, I will probably look to continue at Rolls-Royce, find a permanent role here for the foreseeable future. Rolls-Royce do also offer to pay for your master's degree if you believe that it would be beneficial to you and the company. So I believe I'll make the business case as to why I feel a master's degree would be beneficial, and look to further my knowledge and become a more competent engineer, and eventually maybe look to get chartered as well.
Sounds really great. Best of luck with the Masters. So that was Daniel Snart at Rolls-Royce. Thank you for joining us. We've already heard about 40 UK employers who are looking for degree apprentices to join them next year. Let's find out who our final 10 are.
We return to our showcase of the UK's degree apprenticeship employers with Fujitsu at number 10. It's a global information and communication technology company with degree apprenticeship programs in cyber security, data analysis, software development and defence. We stay with the technology sector for Capgemini at number 9. It's offering 175 places on its degree apprenticeship programs in 2023, with roles in technology, finance and business. At 8, Grant Thornton is an accountancy and professional services firm that offers a 5-year master's level apprenticeship programme that enables sixth form school leavers to qualify as a chartered accountant a year sooner than graduates joining after university. Rolls-Royce is at number 7 in our employer showcase. It's a market leader in the engineering sector and provides degree apprenticeships in manufacturing, engineering, science, digital technology and procurement. Our next group of employers are the Big Four accounting and professional services firms, KPMG, Deloitte, EY and PwC. Together, these four firms are looking for more than 800 sixth form school leavers to join their degree apprenticeship programmes in 2023, with opportunities in consulting, tax, accountancy and technology. At number 2, BAE Systems provides some of the world's most advanced technology-led defence, aerospace and security solutions. It has almost 500 places available in 2023 for apprentices leading to degrees in aerospace engineering, nuclear engineering, project management, software engineering, information management and sustainability. The employer at number 1 in our showcase is the NHS. It's the UK's largest employer with over 1.2 million staff and has 350 different career pathways within the organisation. The NHS offers numerous degree apprenticeship programmes, including nursing, midwifery, paramedics, podiatrists, radiographers and clinical practitioners. There are expected to be over 1,000 places available on NHS degree apprenticeships in 2023. So there we have it. The NHS is set to be the largest employer of degree apprentices in 2023. But how do you find out more about which employers are offering degree apprenticeship programmes in the year ahead? Levi has a guide for you.
Thank you, Martin. We've heard during the programme that degree apprenticeships are offered by individual employers who each have their own application and selection processes and different timetables for their recruitment. Some employers are already advertising their 2023 degree apprenticeship programmes, whereas others won't open their applications until sometime in the spring or even later. So how do you find out then which degree apprenticeships are available? UCAS now has a whole section dedicated to degree apprenticeships and includes listings for employers offering apprenticeships in 2023. For the most comprehensive information though, it's best to go direct to employers' own websites. These will always provide the most detailed description of the degree apprenticeships on offer, along with the employer's minimum entry criteria, selection process, and usually case studies of current or former apprentices. The official government portal for apprenticeships is on the gov.uk website. Their Find an Apprenticeship service lists employers who are currently accepting applications, and although it covers all levels of apprenticeships, you can filter your search for degree apprenticeships. And if you're looking for information about degree apprenticeships in Scotland, head for apprenticeships.scot. In Wales, it's on the Careers Wales website, and the NI Direct website has details of higher level apprenticeships in Northern Ireland. Back to you now, Martin.
Thanks very much, Levi. Now, throughout the programme, you've been busy sending in your questions about degree apprenticeships. I'm very glad to welcome back Jordan Denny from PwC and Absmir from BDO to help us answer them for you. Thank you both. Now, we've had a whole host of questions about different aspects of degree apprenticeships. I'm going to start with one from Gareth Everson. He's a parent at St Aidan's C of E High School in Harrogate, asking what happens if an apprentice changes their mind during their degree apprenticeship about the employer they're with or the career path they're going on to. And I guess that's perhaps hinting at do you want your money back, or what happens when a candidate perhaps has a change of heart?
This one. So we don't make them pay the money back. They are kind of free to leave as and when they wish. We hope that doesn't happen, and we hope that we provide the right support and the university provides the support as well. It's very rarely that this happens, but as I said, we don't expect you to pay the money back.
And there's a question from Rebecca Cuthbert. She's the head of careers at King Edward School in Birmingham. And I think she's concerned about whether or not students might be missing out. How can students be convinced they won't miss out on the community or social side of university life if they take the apprenticeship role? So, Abs, what do you do in terms of helping them make the most of a social life when they're at the firm?
So firstly, when they do join in, they're part of an intake. So they are going to college together or taking those classes together, and they do get that sense of community feel as well. But we also have employee networks at work as well. So whether they're faith networks or any community that you associate with, so that gives all these candidates coming in a great opportunity to network with each other as well.
So not quite the same Freshers' Week bonanza, but still a sociable time within their cohort. Now, a very specific question from a student, Henna Rahman. She was asking, could I ask for some advice on how and where to apply for an architecture apprenticeship degree and whether it's worth doing one or not? Well, I'm not qualified to explain whether it's worth doing or not, but the Royal Institute of British Architects, on their website, they have a list of all the universities that offer a level 7 architect degree apprenticeship, and that includes the universities of Bath, Birmingham City University, De Montfort, Leeds Beckett, London Metropolitan, South Bank, Northumbria, Portsmouth and the University of West of England. So lots of choices and opportunities there. Now, I think we have a member of staff from one of the schools actually joining us live to ask his question in person. So I don't know if we can join Mr. Durkin. He's the assistant principal at Our Lady and St Jad Catholic Academy in Wolverhampton. Good afternoon, Mr. Durkin. Thank you for joining us. I'm hoping you need to stay like Mr. Durkin, are you with us? We can see you, but I'm afraid we can't hear you. So I'm going to just pick up on another question which we've been sent through in the studio, and it's all about application deadlines. So we'll be back with Mr. Durkin in a moment, but if I can ask you, Jordan, about the application window. So I think a lot of schools are worried about whether or not it's going to clash with the UCAS process, whether people are going to be hanging around trying to make decisions about both sides. When do you set your deadlines for applications, and when do you tell people whether they've got a place?
Absolutely. So for the technology degree apprenticeship specifically, the study first pathway, as I spoke about earlier, you actually apply via UCAS. So it's the exact same UCAS deadline of the deadline of the 26th of January. I hope I remembered that correctly. And for the work first pathway, we actually don't open applications till November, and then it'll be kind of a couple of months through the application process. So they should be ready to hear back of their offers, hopefully, by kind of the late spring of next year.
And a couple of questions from schools asking, do you make conditional offers? So are you looking for specific grades for your study first applicants?
So the universities prescribe the specific entry requirements. Okay. So we go from what those universities require, but just to flag, many universities do have opportunities for reduced offers. So please make sure you do check with each individual university.
Right, I think we can rejoin Mr. Durkin. Mr. Durkin, we saw you earlier. I'm hoping you can hear me this time round. I understand you're the assistant principal at Our Lady and St Jad Catholic Academy in Wolverhampton. What's your question for us? Mr. Durkin, I'm sorry, I don't think you can hear me. I think we're on a time delay to Wolverhampton.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, fantastic. Mr. Durkin, your question, please.
Are degree apprentices tied to the company they join? If they want to move after completing their qualification, can they do so? And there's a second question as well, which is, can you be fired from a degree apprenticeship?
Can you be fired? Right, well, let's deal with that one first. Abs, how many degree apprenticeships come to a sticky end at BDO?
To be honest, I don't think that many do, because we like to give them as much support as possible. And at any point, as you mentioned, if they can switch, they do get a people manager, they get a lot of support in the firm. So if they do change their mind, then we would like to try and keep them in the firm, because we've spent all that time getting them through the door, so we wouldn't want to lose them. So no, I don't think that many, we don't lose that many.
And just to be clear, once the apprenticeship is over, they have a qualification that they could then take to any firm to be a chartered accountant or a tax professional at other employers.
Absolutely, it opens doors for them, and whereas we would want them to stay on, they always have an opportunity to go elsewhere if they'd like to as well, once they've gained that apprenticeship.
So our final question just looks at, it's a question from a student, Maheen Yasser. I'm sorry, I'm not sure which sixth form college you're from, but it says, I'm considering doing a degree apprenticeship and would like to know if there's a graduation ceremony at the end of the programme, like a conventional university route. I'm going to just chuck that one to Levi. Did you get a graduation ceremony?
Yeah, we got a graduation ceremony. I mean, it was from home because it was in the pandemic, but we got sent a cap and a gown, and we did a Zoom ceremony. So we kind of all dressed up from home, did a nice little backdrop. Yeah, we still got a graduation, so hopefully you do.
That's brilliant. Right, we're very nearly at the end of the programme. So Jordan and Abs from PwC and BDO, thank you both very much for being part of the programme and answering our questions.
So there we are. It's been a very busy programme introducing the many different opportunities that degree apprenticeship programmes can offer.
We can't tell you whether doing a degree apprenticeship after you leave school is the right option for you. Only you can decide that. But we hope that today's programme has helped you understand what's available from employers, how and when you can apply for a degree apprenticeship, and the type of training, qualifications and degrees that they lead to.
Many thanks to BDO, Dyson, Lloyds Banking Group, PwC, the NHS, Rolls-Royce and the Royal Navy for supporting today's programme.
And to all the recruiters and apprentices who've taken part and shared their stories with us.
You can read more about the degree apprenticeships available at each of these employers page on the special resources page that accompanies the programme. Head to www.highflyers.co.uk/degree apprenticeships.
So I hope you've enjoyed the programme and you found the information and research that we presented about degree apprenticeships useful.
If you're in Year 12 or Year 13, good luck with your sixth form studies and your future careers after school or college.
But for now, our time is up. Thank you very much for watching. From all of us at High Flyers Research, until next time, goodbye.